Not all escapes involve scaling walls or digging tunnels. Some are woven from threads of trust, manipulation, and a calculated breach of the system itself. This is the story of Jean-Pierre Triber, a cunning criminal who orchestrated his freedom from the inside out. His weapon, the very people tasked with his security. Jean-Pierre Triber was born on April 8, 1963, in Auxerre, France. Before his criminal notoriety, Triber lived a relatively obscure life as a forest ranger. His background did not suggest a future as one of France's most infamous escapees. He was known to be a solitary and quiet individual. However, his life took a dramatic turn in 2004 when he became the prime suspect in a gruesome double murder case that shocked the nation. Triber was arrested and charged with the murders of Geraldine Giraud, an actress and daughter of famous French actor Roland Giraud, and her friend Katia Lerbier. The two women went missing in November 2004, and their bodies were discovered 2 weeks later in a well on Triber's property in Villeneuve-sur-Yonne. Both had been strangled. The evidence against Triber was circumstantial but compelling. Items belonging to the victims were found in his home, and he was accused of using their credit cards and forging checks in their names. Despite his claims of innocence, the severity of the charges and the nature of the evidence led to his imprisonment in the Leiria Prison, a high-security facility in Burgundy, France, as he awaited trial. Triber's escape from Leiria Prison was not an impulsive act but the result of meticulous planning and preparation, showcasing his cunning and resourcefulness. Triber's background as a forest ranger may have equipped him with knowledge and skills useful for evasion and survival. While incarcerated, he gathered crucial information about the prison's routines, security protocols, and potential weak points. He observed the daily movements of the guards, the timings of their shifts, and the layout of the prison facilities. Although there was no direct evidence of outside accomplices, Triber likely had support from individuals sympathetic to his plight or who shared a vested interest in his escape. However, it appears that most of his planning and execution were conducted independently, underscoring his capability to operate alone effectively. Triber used everyday items available to him within the prison to aid his escape. Over time, he accumulated materials that could be used to fashion tools or assist in his breakout. This included exploiting weaknesses in the prison's infrastructure and using his knowledge to manipulate his environment to his advantage. Jean-Pierre Triber's escape from Auxerre Prison on September 8, 2009 was an extraordinary event that drew national attention and criticism of the French prison system. On the day of his escape, Triber managed to evade the attention of the guards and access the prison's administrative area. Using a fake authorization, he fooled the guards into thinking he had legitimate reasons to be there. This maneuver allowed him to blend in and avoid immediate detection. Triber's ingenuity shone through in his method of escape. He hid inside a cardboard box typically used for packaging mail and supplies. The box was sealed and placed on a pallet among other items scheduled for delivery. The prison's routine procedures did not involve checking each package thoroughly, allowing Triber to be transported out of the prison undetected. Once outside the prison walls, Triber emerged from his hiding place and quickly fled the area. He had planned his escape route meticulously, avoiding main roads and using his knowledge of the terrain to remain hidden. Triber's background as a forest ranger proved invaluable as he could navigate through rural and forested areas with ease. The escape of Jean-Pierre Triber initiated one of the largest manhunts in recent French history, involving extensive resources and coordination among various law enforcement agencies. The authorities deployed numerous strategies to track down Triber. They monitored his known associates, intercepted communications, and gathered information from informants within the criminal underworld. The police also released his description to the public, appealing for any information that could lead to his capture. Triber's escape and the subsequent manhunt received widespread media coverage. This constant spotlight put pressure on the police to recapture him and kept the public informed of developments. The media often speculated on his whereabouts and potential next moves, which sometimes provided valuable tips to the authorities but also added an element of unpredictability to the manhunt. Law enforcement agencies conducted extensive searches in areas where Schreiber was thought to be hiding. This included rural and forested regions, where his skills as a forest ranger could help him survive. The police set up roadblocks, increased patrols, and used helicopters equipped with thermal imaging to locate him. Jean-Pierre Schreiber managed to evade capture for several months, moving stealthily and relying on his survival skills. However, the pressure of constant evasion and the difficulty of sustaining a fugitive lifestyle took their toll. There were several reported sightings of Schreiber during the manhunt, often leading to high-intensity search operations. These sightings usually ended in near misses, with Schreiber managing to slip away just before the authorities could apprehend him. His ability to evade capture for so long demonstrated both his resourcefulness and the challenges faced by law enforcement. On November 20, 2009, authorities closed in on Schreiber's location after receiving a tip-off. He was found hiding in a forested area near Melun, approximately 50 kilometers southeast of Paris. Realizing that his capture was imminent and unwilling to return to prison, Schreiber took his own life by ingesting poison. His body was discovered shortly afterward, bringing an end to the dramatic manhunt. The escape and eventual death of Jean-Pierre Schreiber had significant implications for the French prison system and the justice system as a whole. Schreiber's escape highlighted serious flaws in the French prison system, particularly concerning security protocols and the management of high-risk inmates. In response, the government initiated a series of reforms aimed at improving prison security. These reforms included stricter control measures, enhanced surveillance, and better training for prison staff to prevent similar incidents in the future. The case prompted a re-evaluation of the procedures for handling prisoners awaiting trial for serious offenses. It underscored the need for a balance between maintaining security and upholding the rights of inmates, ensuring that due process is followed without compromising public safety. The public and media reaction to Schreiber's escape and death was intense and varied. Some viewed him as a symbol of the failings of the justice system, while others saw his actions as those of a desperate man who believed in his innocence. The case continued to generate debate and discussion long after his death, particularly regarding the treatment of suspects in high-profile cases. Jean-Pierre Schreiber's escape from Auxerre prison and his subsequent life on the run are a testament to his resourcefulness and determination. His actions exposed significant vulnerabilities within the French prison system and led to important reforms aimed at preventing future escapes. Although his life ended tragically, Schreiber's story continues to be a subject of fascination and debate, highlighting the complex interplay between crime, justice, and human ingenuity. Jean-Pierre Schreiber's escape exposed a shocking security lapse, leaving a trail of questions and a nation on edge. Did he exploit a weakness in the system, or was there something more sinister at play? Hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-bending true crime stories, because sometimes the greatest danger comes from within. Notorious prison walls. Cold, unforgiving steel. For Bobby Storey, they represented a stolen future. But within those very walls, a plan ignited, a daring escape that would rewrite history. This isn't just a story of breaking free. It's a testament to the unwavering human spirit, a gamble against impossible odds. Bobby Storey was a prominent member of the Irish Republican Army, IRA, a paramilitary organization that sought to end British rule in Northern Ireland and reunify Ireland. Born in Belfast in 1956, Storey grew up in a period marked by intense sectarian conflict known as the Troubles. This era, spanning from the late 1960s to the 1998 Good Friday Agreement, was characterized by violent clashes between nationalist/Republican and unionist/loyalist factions, along with extensive military and police operations. Storey joined the IRA as a young man, driven by a deep commitment to the Republican cause. He quickly rose through the ranks, becoming involved in various operations, including bombings, shootings, and intelligence gathering. Storey was known for his organizational skills and unwavering dedication, traits that earned him a senior position within the IRA. In 1981, Bobby Storey was captured by British security forces during an operation targeting high-ranking IRA members. He was convicted of several offenses, including conspiracy to cause explosions and possession of firearms. These charges stemmed from his involvement in planning and executing attacks against British military and police targets. Storey was sentenced to life imprisonment and incarcerated in the Maze Prison, also known as Long Kesh, a high-security facility located southwest of Belfast. The Maze Prison was notorious for housing paramilitary prisoners from both sides of the conflict. It was a symbol of the British government's efforts to contain the violence and dismantle the paramilitary organizations. The prison was divided into H blocks, with each block housing prisoners from different factions. This arrangement often led to tensions and clashes between inmates and prison authorities. The escape from Maze Prison, known as the Great Escape, was meticulously planned over several months and involved an elaborate network of IRA operatives both inside and outside the prison. Gathering detailed intelligence about the prison's layout, security measures, and daily routines was crucial for planning the escape. Storey and his fellow inmates conducted extensive reconnaissance, noting guard shifts, patrol routes, and the location of security cameras. They also communicated with IRA members outside the prison, who provided additional intelligence and support. The escape plan required the cooperation of numerous IRA members both inside and outside the prison. Within the prison, Storey coordinated with other IRA inmates to form an escape committee. This group was responsible for planning the operation, securing necessary materials, and coordinating their actions on the day of the escape. Outside the prison, IRA operatives were tasked with facilitating the escape, providing getaway vehicles, and arranging safe houses. Over several months, the escape committee smuggled various tools and resources into the prison. These included wire cutters, improvised weapons, fake identification cards, and civilian clothing. The smuggling operation was complex, involving visits from sympathetic individuals, bribing or deceiving prison staff, and exploiting weaknesses in the prison's security protocols. The escape from Maze Prison took place on September 25, 1983, and was one of the most dramatic and successful prison breaks in history. A total of 38 IRA prisoners, including Bobby Storey, managed to escape, dealing a significant blow to British authorities. On the day of the escape, the prisoners initiated their plan with military precision. A group of inmates overpowered a prison officer and seized his keys, gaining access to the H block control room. There, they took several officers hostage and used the control room's communication system to create confusion and delay any coordinated response. Meanwhile, other inmates cut through the perimeter fences using wire cutters that had been smuggled into the prison. The escapees moved quickly and quietly, using the chaos created by the takeover of the control room to their advantage. They donned civilian clothing to blend in and avoid immediate detection. The final obstacle was the prison's perimeter wall, which was heavily guarded and equipped with watchtowers. The escapees used ladders constructed from materials smuggled into the prison over several months. Timing was critical, as the ladders had to be deployed and climbed before the guards in the watchtowers could react effectively. The escapees coordinated their movements carefully, ensuring that they reached the wall at a time when guard patrols were minimal. Despite the high risk, they managed to scale the wall and reach the outside of the prison complex. Outside the prison walls, several vehicles were waiting to transport the escapees to safe locations. These vehicles were driven by IRA operatives who had meticulously planned their routes to avoid police roadblocks and surveillance. The escapees were quickly dispersed to various safe houses, where they would remain hidden until it was safe to relocate them. The escape from Maze Prison was a significant embarrassment for the British government and a major propaganda victory for the IRA. It demonstrated the IRA's organizational capabilities and their determination to continue their struggle despite intense security measures. In the immediate aftermath of the escape, British security forces launched a massive manhunt to recapture the fugitives. This operation involved extensive intelligence gathering, including monitoring known IRA safe houses, intercepting communications, and deploying informants within the Republican community. The authorities also offered substantial rewards for information leading to the capture of the escapees. Given the potential for some escapees to flee to other countries, British authorities sought assistance from international law enforcement agencies, including Interpol. This collaboration aimed to prevent the escapees from finding refuge abroad and to facilitate their capture if they crossed borders. Despite the intensive manhunt, many of the escapees managed to evade capture for extended periods. Some were recaptured within days or weeks, while others remained at large for years. Bobby Storey was among those who successfully eluded capture for a significant time. His ability to avoid recapture highlighted the IRA's extensive support network and the difficulty of dismantling such a well-organized and determined group. In response to the escape, the British government implemented a series of measures to enhance prison security and prevent similar incidents in the future. These measures included stricter surveillance, improved perimeter defenses, and more rigorous screening of prison staff and visitors. The escape also led to an overhaul of the procedures for handling high-risk prisoners, with an emphasis on preventing the formation of organized escape plans. Bobby Storey remained a prominent figure within the Republican movement after the escape. He continued to be involved in IRA activities and later played a significant role in Sinn Féin, the political wing of the Republican movement. Storey's life was marked by his unwavering commitment to the cause of Irish republicanism, and he became a respected leader within the movement. Storey remained active in promoting the Republican cause and was involved in various political and community initiatives aimed at advancing the goals of the movement. He was known for his eloquence and his ability to articulate the aspirations of the Republican community. Storey's contributions to the peace process and his efforts to support former prisoners and their families were widely recognized. Bobby Storey's audacious escape from Maze Prison shattered the illusion of its invincibility. But did freedom come at a cost? Hit that like button and subscribe for more heart-pounding escapes, because on this channel, history never gets old. The heavy clang of a metal door. Cold, damp stone walls closing in. A suffocating sense of isolation. This is the reality for countless souls trapped within prison walls. But for Nuno Pontes, these walls wouldn't hold him captive forever. Freedom, a concept that seemed like a distant dream, fueled a fire within him, a fire that burned brighter than any prison guard's watchful gaze. Nuno Pontes is a Portuguese national whose criminal activities have made him a notorious figure in the country's criminal history. Born and raised in a lower socioeconomic neighborhood in Portugal, Pontes was exposed to crime from an early age. His early years were marked by petty crimes such as shoplifting and vandalism, but as he grew older, his criminal activities escalated significantly. By his late teens, Pontes had become involved with organized crime syndicates operating in Portugal. These organizations were known for their involvement in various illegal activities, including drug trafficking, arms smuggling, and high-profile robberies. Pontes quickly rose through the ranks due to his daring nature and strategic mind, becoming a key player in several criminal operations. His involvement in these activities brought him into frequent conflict with law enforcement, and he became well known to the police as a highly dangerous and elusive criminal. Nuno Pontes' criminal career culminated in his arrest and conviction for a series of high-profile crimes. The most significant of these were his involvement in multiple armed robberies and drug trafficking operations. Pontes was implicated in a string of bank heists that shocked the nation with their audacity and precision. These robberies often involved sophisticated planning and execution, with Pontes and his accomplices using advanced tactics to evade security measures and law enforcement. In addition to his involvement in armed robberies, Pontes was also heavily involved in drug trafficking. He played a significant role in a large-scale narcotics distribution network that spanned several European countries. The network was responsible for importing and distributing large quantities of drugs, including cocaine and heroin, across Portugal and beyond. The scale and impact of these operations drew the attention of both national and international law enforcement agencies. After a lengthy investigation, which involved extensive surveillance, undercover operations, and collaboration between various law enforcement agencies, Pontes was finally apprehended. The evidence against him was overwhelming, leading to his conviction on multiple charges, including armed robbery, drug trafficking, and possession of illegal firearms. He was sentenced to a lengthy prison term at Leiria Prison, a high-security facility known for housing some of the country's most dangerous criminals. Nuno Pontes' escape from Leiria Prison was the result of meticulous planning and careful coordination. The planning phase spanned several months and involved several key components that were critical to the success of the escape. One of the first steps in planning the escape was gathering detailed information about the prison's layout, security protocols, and guard routines. Pontes managed to obtain this information through a network of contacts within the prison. Fellow inmates, some of whom had previously attempted escapes, provided valuable insights into the prison's weaknesses. Additionally, it is believed that Pontes may have compromised certain prison staff members, either through bribery or coercion, to obtain crucial information and assistance. Pontes' escape plan relied heavily on the assistance of accomplices both inside and outside the prison. Inside the prison, he enlisted the help of a few trusted inmates who were willing to risk their lives to assist in the escape. These inmates played crucial roles in smuggling tools into the prison and assisting with the physical aspects of the escape. Outside the prison, Pontes had a network of loyal associates who were instrumental in executing the escape plan. These individuals were responsible for providing the necessary tools and resources, coordinating the timing of the escape, and ensuring that a getaway vehicle was ready and waiting. Over several months, essential tools for the escape were smuggled into the prison. These included cutting tools for metal bars, makeshift ladders for scaling walls, and possibly mobile phones for communication. The tools were smuggled in using various methods, including through corrupt prison staff and during visitations from outside accomplices. Each tool was carefully concealed and stored within the prison until the day of the escape. Before the successful escape, Pontes had made at least one prior attempt to break out of Leiria Prison. This failed attempt was a critical learning experience that provided valuable lessons and insights. The failed escape highlighted weaknesses in the prison's security system, tested the resolve and vigilance of the prison guards, and allowed Pontes to refine his escape plan. During the failed attempt, Pontes and his accomplices encountered unexpected obstacles that thwarted their efforts. These included heightened security measures, increased guard patrols, and surveillance cameras that were not accounted for in their initial plan. The failure of this escape attempt led Pontes to reassess and improve his strategies, addressing the shortcomings that had led to the failure. On the chosen day, Pontes and his accomplices inside the prison initiated the escape plan. They began by cutting through the metal bars of their cell using tools that had been smuggled in over the preceding months. This task required precision and stealth, as the noise could potentially alert the guards. To mitigate this risk, the escapees chose a time when guard patrols were less frequent and ambient noise in the prison was higher. Once they had successfully cut through the bars, Pontes and his accomplices navigated through the prison's ventilation system. This route was chosen because it provided a relatively unguarded and concealed pathway to an area of the prison with less surveillance. The ventilation system was narrow and claustrophobic, requiring the escapees to crawl significant distances while avoiding detection. After exiting the ventilation system, the escapees reached an exterior area of the prison where they had to scale the prison walls. Utilizing makeshift ladders that had been smuggled in and assembled within the prison, they began the precarious climb. This phase of the escape was particularly risky as it required precise timing to avoid detection by patrols and surveillance cameras. Any misstep could result in immediate detection and capture. The escapees coordinated their movements to coincide with shifts in guard patrols, ensuring that they climbed during moments of reduced vigilance. Despite the inherent danger, they managed to scale the walls successfully, demonstrating their physical prowess and the effectiveness of their planning. Outside the prison walls, a getaway vehicle was waiting, driven by one of Pontes' outside accomplices. The vehicle had been strategically parked in a location that allowed for a quick and inconspicuous departure. As soon as the escapees cleared the prison walls, they sprinted to the vehicle, which then sped away from the prison, taking advantage of the element of surprise and the confusion among the guards. The getaway vehicle had been prepared with false license plates and a carefully planned route to evade immediate pursuit. The driver, an experienced accomplice, navigated through secondary roads and avoided major highways to reduce the likelihood of being spotted by law enforcement. Despite the initial success of the escape, Nuno Pontes' freedom was short-lived. A massive manhunt was launched by Portuguese authorities, involving extensive surveillance and cooperation with international law enforcement agencies. The recapture of Pontes was the result of a combination of factors that ultimately led to his downfall. Nuno Pontes' escape from Leiria Prison is a story etched in history, a testament to the enduring human desire for freedom. Whether his actions were justified or not, his daring plan and unwavering will leave you pondering the true meaning of liberty. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you find most surprising about Nuno Pontes' escape?